with my good friend, peer facilitator, advocate, mominator, soon to be author of her life story, Charmaine Loverin. And today we're going to be talking about something that's very special and dear to our hearts, being advocates for child abuse prevention, Loverin's Law, and what that is and what that looks like. Without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Charmaine, who's going to introduce herself, and then we're going to get started. Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Maria. Oh,
Sorry, that's my speakers in the background. I'm just going to lower my notifications. Sorry about that.
that's okay. First, before I get started, for those who don't know me, and I live with ALS, so I have a bit of a speech short, but you mainly can understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, Maria, just ask me to repeat. And I'm so excited to share what's happening through this journey. I'm honored that you invited me to talk about Love's Law because it's in a critical stage right now. So I'm a mom first and foremost. They give me my whole purpose to everything I do and I say. And they're both teenagers. And yes, I'm writing a book finally. And it's going to be published around my birthday next year. And I'm really excited to share where Love's Law is. And if anyone has any questions during our conversation, ask away. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Charmaine. Let's start with what is Loverin's Law? What is its purpose? What is it going to do for kids in schools?
Yeah, Love's Law is a request to make it law and mandatory for all Ontario school boards to designate an annual awareness week for abuse prevention. And the whole intention of that is to get in early and educate kids from the ages of kindergarten, 5 years old, all the way up into high school. Yeah.
Beautiful. So a week-long awareness and abuse prevention campaign for people to get involved, to educate themselves on what abuse is, what language would be helpful to identify abuse. I know that you have another project on the go, the book about suicide prevention, that people can find out about all these things. Can I direct them to the Center for Mental Health Transformation Facebook page? Would that be appropriate?
Yeah. Absolutely. There's an education page, a resource page, and an advocacy page that shows where things have progressed and how to talk about abuse and suicide prevention to kids ages young and up. For example, Miriam, people approach me with isn't questions like isn't it provoking abuse or is it not too early to talk about this at 5 years old? And these are very, very valid questions. It just shows that people care and they want that basis covered, right? So, for example, abuse at the ages 5 to 7. At that age, hopefully everything is a word, an empty word. So we teach our children the words stop and danger. How do we teach them that? We teach them by showing them the stop sign. We teach them by action. we teach a danger sign, all that. And in that context, we can show the word abuse, like in the stop sign model, and we can teach alertness to watch out for that word. Then ages 8 to 12, they can learn about the different ages or different types of abuse, emotional, verbal, sexual, all that. And because under the ages 5 to 7, is hopefully just a word before it becomes an experience. And Maria, not every child is abused, thank goodness. And it's a full opportunity to educate children, to help children. Be aware of the signs, watch out for it early, and it will help with victims and early offenders, right? Yeah.
Exactly. And I think what most people don't realize, that those that are not in the abuse prevention circles, abuse awareness or investigation side, police communities, don't know, is that often the abusers are people who are trustworthy, quote unquote, trustworthy sources to the family, and known to that child. So 95% of the time, the child knows who the offender is or the abuser is. And sometimes the abuser may be an older child, which is something that's not usually talked about in the media. We usually see these abusers as typically older men. And the other side of that, too, is that women can also be abusers. So it's really great what you're doing to bring awareness to others who are outside of our usual circles of abuse prevention, to have the language, to have the tools, and to have the capacity to tell and educate their children on what abuse looks like, and to tell someone they trust, to get some help early. So the earlier we intervene, the better that quality of life for that child's going to be. Well, we know that at the Gatehouse. We see it in the adult survivors that come to our program who didn't get any help when they were kids, who were rejected by the people that they trust most. Thank you so much for sharing that, Charmaine. Did you want to add something to that?
Yeah, well, it's great that you mentioned all that, because the Gatehouse is not alone in seeing that education is so crucial to the opportunity in reshaping the future of our kids. And all of this topic, and both for kids, Canadian Center for Abuse Awareness, people from CAMH, Toronto Police Services, Durham Police Service, so many people have agreed and signed for yes to early education and Loverin law to be in our government and in our schools. So I'm not alone, and it's good to see. Well, once 78 years ago, I was alone in this topic. Now there's thousands of Ontarians that have signed love and law. Yeah.
That's beautiful, Charmaine. And we need more signatures. That's the other purpose of our talk today, is to also bring awareness to that fact that how many more signatures do you think are needed for the process, Charmaine?
Ongoing. It's ongoing. But where it's at right now is I'm working with MPP Michael Mathe. He's from Algoma, Manitoulin Island, and he's taking this petition to next stage, which some people may have seen yesterday on the news, for the debate for the home care or non-for-profit organizations. It was a whole unfolding how debates happen to pass a private member's bill. So that's where Loverin's Law is right now. And because October is National Abuse Awareness Month, I thought at the beginning it would be great to add 3,000 signatures in 30 days. And we're probably at about, I guess, 700 to 1,000 already. And we're counting. So I hope to get 3,000 added names, but as it stands right now, we have over 1,000 of names added. And if people want to add their name, they can contact me on Facebook, and you can find me anywhere.
You just type in Charmaine Loverin and she's everywhere.
Yeah, you can contact me because digital signatures are not submissible on the legislation table. So I have to get your permission to put your name and put on the petition. So contact me to put your name on. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Charmaine. Yeah, and I'll make sure to add that in the comments section later on, to how to contact you and where to find maybe some more information about the petition at the Center for Mental Health Transformation. That's the title of the Facebook page that has a lot of information about this petition, the process. And I know it's been quite a few years. This is nothing new that you have started and restarted. Can you share a little bit more about some of the obstacles that you've encountered, some of the challenges that you've had to overcome with Loverin's Law?
Yeah, so many different things. I started at your conference. The idea, I remember a group conversation of what make a difference to interrupt the pattern of sexual abuse. And it was around agreement that education would be a really good idea. So, wow, okay, so then what? And I have people who worked in housing with the government at that time. I met with him. His name is Harvey Cooper. And I asked him, how do you get a law started? Like 10 years ago, I would have been leading a law? No way. So he told me I had to meet with my constituents in the locale and go from them. So what happened was, at that point, I was putting together Empowering Voices Awareness program for our schools. And it was a 3-part module built for a 1-week curricula for our schools. I did have the schools look at, but it just sat on the table. And I had a pilot launch, which you were on. Therapists, we had government people there, we had educators, police officers, we had a lot of good people there. And it proved on the outcome that education was a good idea. So the first time I did the petition, Maria, it was all digital. I went on something like change.org or something, and I printed all the work we did, and I took it into MPP and Bob Baker, and 2 things. He said, 1, digital signatures are not allowed. 2, I had to wait in a formal legislation template on what the request was. So they sent me a template round 2. I had to go back to the table and with you and with so me a whole bunch of signatures again, and that year that petition fell off the table with so many other petitions because the seasonal government closing the doors for that season. Last petition. This is going on 3 years now. And I remember coming to you thinking I'm gonna quit, like it was too much, right? So obstacles like that. And round 3, I actually got it both. MPP Among Baker, he tabled it, and then Rob Board, Rob Board, God bless us. Anyways, petition and not go. We had to start again. So all of us together built the 4th petition. So we're here now. Within 6 years, we're now going into final debate. And what I'm doing today is speaking to all constituents, 22 of them, and getting them on board in non-partisan matter and getting the vote so there's no debate. And what I need from like Bruce for Kids, you guys, everything is a letter saying why it matters early to help with child. No. And we're taking all in for November for the debate.
That's amazing, Charmaine. Your perseverance, you give true meaning to the word advocate. Advocate for those that don't have a voice. Advocate despite the no's. Advocate despite the, this doesn't sound like something that we could get into fruition, right? After that 3rd time that it was stalled yet again by some process or some governmental break, Charmaine didn't give up. She wants to see this come to fruition for her children, everyone's children, my children, to have opportunities to learn and be protected and be aware that abuse, one, knows no bounds, and it can happen to anyone. And it's not to fear monger or put fear into the hearts of everyone. It's to bring awareness to this so that kids can have safer, healthier, happier lives, and families as well. Of course, they're all part of that experience. And those that are abused can get the early intervention, the early support that they need to live a healthier life, because they have a right to that as well. Thank you so much, Charmaine, for all that you're doing with this. So yeah, 3,000 signatures, people. Let's get 3,000 names on that petition. So hopefully 3,000 people are going to contact you today, Charmaine, to get their names on the petition. They have to be Ontario citizens. Is that correct? Or just Canadian citizens? Yeah. Is there a qualification for that?
Yeah. They have to be Ontario. They have to send me their first and last name with their permission to add their name with their, and they have to be 18 years old up. Yeah.
Beautiful. Good to know. So 18 years old, Ontario citizens, must give you consent and permission to have their name added, their first and last name and their address added to the petition. Very cool. Yeah, because Corona has really done a number on everything that we do. It's interesting that the government wouldn't make some kind of addition to or exception to this kind of process because, getting in-person signatures is not something that's feasible right now with all the health restrictions that we're facing. Yeah, so thank you for doing that, Charmaine, and being available for people. And you've got so much stuff going on in your life. Do you want to say a little bit about the book that you're writing?
Yeah, well, first, I don't have much going on. I'm on vacation for the rest of my life now. Come on.
Kids don't have vacations.
I decided a book because I've attempted for a girlfriend, Deb. She reminded me I started like 12 years ago. 12 years ago. So I defined habit like free flowing. I've been writing, and I'm gonna share a persistent perspective on what's like to live with competitions. Like life is always going to show up. So how do I live through child abuse? How do I live through a circle which I'm going through right now in a trauma? And how do I live with the most rare trauma illness? Like, how do you keep going, right? And I'm happy to share that if I bring someone there because we all have our own shit. So, gotta keep going.
That's so true. That's so true. And that's such a powerful message, Charmaine, to remain in that state of optimism, the state of interdependence and being okay with asking for help and receiving help because you give so much to people. And I always say that when you come to the Gatehouse, you bring the sunshine with you, right? So you're always like in a cheery mood and you make other people feel comfortable and smile and gratitude. Oh, someone in your life?
Yeah, my sister's bringing lunch for me.
Do you want sauce on? Hi. Do you want hot turkey?
Sure.
I love it. I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Exactly. And you know what? Your sister came at the exact time. We're talking about asking for help, receiving help, having a support system in place because we can't do it all on our own. And I'm really happy to hear that a lot of other agencies have jumped on board to help promote Loverin's Law, to spread awareness about it. Like you mentioned Boost, you mentioned police, obviously the Gatehouse. And for anyone out there who's watching this, please share this on your Facebook pages. It will end up on Twitter as well at some point today. Share the video widely so that people know that this is going on, that Charmaine needs your help to get signatures for this petition, because without these signatures, this Loverin's Law is not going to go through, and we want to see it in our schools. We want an abuse awareness prevention week in our schools that is mandated, that schools can't really choose to do it or not. It is mandatory. You must have this intertwined with the learning and education. So I think that's another thing that happens is there are some really great programs out there in education, but some schools do it, other schools don't. I don't know if it's that consistent. So it's really good what you're doing, Charmaine, to make this a reality and help save and transform lives of children and families everywhere in this province. Thank you so much, Charmaine. I wanted to maybe end it off there and then ask, if you want to say any other comments or questions that you want to address before we wrap up today.
Yeah, it's just an opportunity to the future. That's it. And thank you so much for taking time out, and thank you to the Gatehouse being a resource for adults recovering from child sex abuse. So thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much, Charmaine. It's always great to spend time with you, and I look forward to seeing you at our conference, which is going to be online this year because COVID has really transformed the way we live. We are going to have the Transforming Trauma Conference. It's our 10th year that will be online this year. We'll have all the schedule up by end of October, beginning of November. It is during National Victims of Crime, Victims and Survivors of Crime Week, and it is supported by the Department of Justice. So if you want to check out our website, thegatehouse.org, during the week of November, right at November 1st, all the schedule is going to be posted there. The webinars are all free. We have an amazing series of speakers lined up at different days, persons from who help victims of human trafficking, survivors of human trafficking, survivors of childhood sexual abuse, persons who are therapists who help children who are survivors of childhood sexual abuse, and some of the therapies and strategies they use to manage stress and anxiety in children. So there's lots of content, lots of great discussions happening November 22nd to the 27th. Check out our website. Check out the Center for Personal Mental Health Transformation. I'll put on the link after the broadcast is done so that you can go and check out Charmaine's work as well and share this video. We need your support. We need 3,000 signatures, 3,000 signatures, individual signatures, and contact Charmaine to get your name on that petition so you can help save and transform a life too. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you, Charmaine. You are amazing. Keep doing all that you're doing on the planet. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.